Hey, what's up? DJ here. The Finals Open Beta has taken the FPS genre like a storm. A whopping 7.5 million players played this game during its open beta. In the past couple of years, I have rarely seen this kind of hype for a game, especially from an open beta, and it might be safe to assume that the hype train for the Finals got even bigger than that of Modern Warfare 3. Having played the game during its open beta, I can confidently say that the hype is real for the Finals. The team at Embark Studios has done an amazing job. There's a lot that I wanted to discuss with you here, so let's not wait any further. Starting with graphics, the game looked decent and felt responsive. I got little to no stuttering during my playtime, and I'm not even on a mid-range PC. The devs have decided to go with vibrant colors when it comes to map design as well as character customization, and I loved it. I did find some optimization issues here and there, but nothing as game-breaking. In fact, after some in-game testing, I had put every video settings on low except for view distance and shadows. I was still getting crisp visuals with an average of 80 FPS. I had put shadows on medium because putting shadows on low made them look jagged and looked really bad. So I ended up making a compromise of 10 to 15 FPS for better visuals. Yeah, I know that's a huge compromise in terms of FPS, but I like to have better visuals in my games, and since I was getting around 80 FPS, I was fine with it. The game does need some optimization, but as this was an open beta, we cannot expect a flawless game. In my opinion, betas are there for taking player feedback. For view distance, I stuck with high in order to retain best visibility. Moving on to the main menu, or backstage as they call it in the Finals, I really liked the way it was designed. It was simple to navigate but not boring to look at. The bright red color on the main menu really pops out, but it might not be appealing to everyone as it's quite bright and not easy on the eyes. So going forward, my suggestion would be to introduce custom menu themes so that players have the option to pick a background that they like. Your character takes the center stage in the main menu with different tabs placed around it. The contestant tab is all about creating and customizing your character. In terms of customization, we can customize our character pretty much from head to toe with outfits and gears. I really like the fact that we had the freedom to either buy entire bundles or buy individual items from those bundles at the store. Speaking about buying cosmetics, if you played the open beta, on top of getting 16 levels of free battle pass rewards that you could grind for, you would also have received 10,000 premium credits to buy stuff from the store. The devs at Embark Studios are straight up top Gs. Moving on to the next tab in the main menu, we had the equipment tab where we could select specializations, weapons, and gadgets for different build types. We could also customize our weapons there. It was a bit of an underwhelming experience because of the fact that most of the guns came with just iron sights and there were no customization options available in terms of attachments. Also, no matter how much I tried, I could not put charms or skins on the guns from the equipment tab. I had to go to the store, open bundles that I had purchased, and then equip them on my guns from there. Apart from the contestant and the equipment tab, we had battle pass, store, leagues, and a big play button on the main menu. Jumping into the character selection in this game, we had 3 categories to pick from during the beta: small, medium, and heavy. Small is our glass cannon player who can dish out a lot of damage but has the lowest health. They are also the fastest in movement among the 3 build types and typically our main fraggers or assassins. In terms of weapons, we had SMGs, snipers, knives, etc. to pair with small build types during the beta. Next is medium, which sits in the middle ground between small and heavy. They have more health compared to a small one but less than a heavy one, and they move slower than a small one but faster than a heavy one. Mediums are typically healers and they play a vital role in keeping our team alive during fights. For mediums, we had ARs, shotties, revolvers, etc. to pick as a weapon during the beta. Lastly, heavy is our tank with the highest amount of health. Although they are the slowest of the bunch, heavies are the primary demolition and defense experts. In terms of weapons, they had LMGs, shotties, or hammers to pick from. Each class has 1 specialization, 1 weapon, and 3 gadget slots available on them during a match. You can also pick an extra weapon and 3 gadgets to put them in reserve so that you have the flexibility to change weapons and gadgets in order to adapt to different situations during a match. Keep in mind that any changes in your active loadout during a match will take effect once you respawn. There are a handful of options available for each build type to choose from, and I didn't find any build to be quote-unquote meta. Don't get me wrong, weapon balancing was an issue during the beta. Fortunately, it was not just one weapon that was busted, but quite a few. So feel free to experiment and figure out what suits your playstyle the best once the game is out. But still, if you want some recommendations from the open beta, then here are a few. For small build types, Cloak with stun was used by many players. For medium builds, AK with healing gun, goo grenade and defibrillator was my favorite and also was used by many. For heavy, either run with an LMG if you want to engage fights at a distance, or use the hammer or the shotgun if you want to get up close and personal. RPG and flame grenades are great on heavy. RPG gives you one-shot kill potential on a small build type, and trust me, if you are up against a skilled small build player, those are the most annoying to play against. The character selection is quite simple and unique, and I respect the dev's choice, but unfortunately, I could not emotionally connect with the characters in this game. Although we have tons of customization available, which is great since we have build types and not specific characters, they are just a bunch of random faces and nothing more than that. The setback with this kind of character model is that we don't have the premise to set up backstories associated with characters, and so there is no emotional attachment with an in-game character like we used to in many FPS games. And on top of that, we are also limited to just 3 build types. I don't know if they plan to introduce a small medium or a medium heavy build in the future, because that's going to be really hilarious, but I guess that's also going to be the end of the line in terms of build types. I'm not saying that it's imperative to have characters with backstories in an FPS title, but it does help in forming an emotional attachment with a specific character of your choice, which leads to better player engagement. Frankly speaking, this could also help the devs to sell skins better, because to be honest, they need to make profits in order to keep the game running and support it. It would be extremely disappointing to lose a game this good, but hey, if everything works out just fine, then who am I to say anything about the choices? It will be interesting to see how the devs at Embark Studios handle this in future. Talking about team composition, each team consists of 3 players. Players are not restricted in any way to choose their preferred build types. That means you can have 3 small builds or 3 medium or 3 heavies in a team. This was the case till the time I played during the open beta. If there was any new update, please let me know in the comments. Although it looks simple, what separates a good player from a bad one is how well one understands their build type and plays to its strength. This also reflects at a team level as well. This is a team-based game, so a well-coordinated team where players support each other and make smart plays will perform better than the teams where players are not playing as a team and just playing for themselves. You will find this game to be more rewarding when you play as a team rather than a solo. It's really simple. If you are a healer, make sure that you are sticking by your team and healing them when required, because you are going to be the deciding factor in many fights. If you are a small build player, don't even think about taking a medium or a heavy head-on. Until and unless the player is really bad at aiming, you're probably going to lose. Instead, use your increased movement and agility to pick unexpected angles and gain advantage on your enemies. Keep on changing your last known location. If you are playing heavy, stick by your healer and protect them. If your healer knows how to do their job, you're going to win most of the fights for sure. Team wipes can hurt your team a lot. So if you are the last person alive on your team, then just play it safe and wait for at least one of your teammates to get revived if you are unable to revive them safely by yourself. Let's discuss the different game modes that were available during the open beta. Under play, we had quick play, tournaments, and practice. There were 2 modes available under quick play: quick cache and banquet. Quick cache is a 3v3v3 mode where teams compete to find cache boxes and deposit them in big yellow vaults. Remember that we would have to defend the vault while the deposit is underway, because it can be stolen by the other teams. Banquet mode has 3v3v3v3, that is 4 teams instead of 3, and here the money is on you. So if you kill other players or complete objectives, you will get money, but you can also lose it if you get killed by other players before you can bank your reward. Under tournaments, we had 2 categories: unranked tournaments and ranked tournaments. Both unranked and ranked tournaments are a series of games played with an objective to win the finals. Unranked has 24 players in total, whereas ranked has 48 players in total. Unranked mode has a total of 3 rounds, 2 rounds knockout and 1 final, whereas ranked has total of 4 rounds, 3 rounds knockout and 1 final. Quick disclaimer, I did not play the tournament mode as I didn't feel confident jumping into that particular mode as a solo during the beta, so I will not be able to provide any insights or share my thoughts about that particular mode. I had only played quick cache and banquet matches during the open beta, and therefore I can confidently say that these are ideal for anyone who doesn't have friends to play this game with or likes to play with randoms. You will be fine as long as 3 of you stick to your team objectives and help out each other. During my playtime as a solo, I never had to turn on my mic and communicate to make my teammates understand what I wanted them to do. Under the practice mode, we can select either to play the tutorial or we can go for free practice. Free practice was a great place to understand the different game mechanics, adjust my in-game sensitivity, as well as for aim training and getting warmed up. Please keep in mind that SBMM or skill-based matchmaking is there in this game both in public as well as ranked modes, but I didn't find it to be as tight as the other FPS shooters like Modern Warfare 2 or Modern Warfare 3 or Apex Legends. So I guess you probably won't end up thinking about smashing your PC after each and every match. But still, if it's up to me, I would like to have them just remove SBMM from the public lobbies or just keep it in tournament mode. During the open beta, we had 3 maps available: Skyway Stadium, Monaco, and Seoul. The maps had a lot of verticality to them that could be strategically used to gain advantage on the other teams. We also had dynamic weather and day-night cycle implemented on the matches, which added more playability to them. Maps in the finals were quite big compared to your typical multiplayer maps, but thanks to the movement mechanics of this game, it never felt tedious to traverse across the map. On top of it all, most part of the maps were completely destructible. Matchmaking was really quick during the open beta. I hardly had to wait for more than 10 seconds before getting a match in the quick play mode due to the huge number of players playing the game. The one thing that made me really happy was that I never had to join a game in the middle. Although there were many players who got disconnected during the games in open beta, fortunately I never had to face that issue. I also didn't feel any desync issues, so that's a big thumbs up from me. Spawns were also great during the open beta. Map destruction has been one of the main attractions for the finals. I was completely blown away by the destruction of this game. It's not just there for show, it has its own utility. Say you are on the ground floor and the objective is on the first, second or the third floor. No problem, just blow up the upper floors. You can pretty much destroy the whole map except for the lifts. Yes, the lifts cannot be destroyed. It was so fun and chaotic at times. Even if I lost a game, I thoroughly enjoyed the gameplay. That's what kept me coming for more and probably will for the other players as well. Those last minute steals of other teams' stash were so fun, I didn't even get bothered by the fact that this game has SBMM or skill-based matchmaking, and honestly I never felt that I had to try hard to be relevant in any of the quick play matches. Live commentary during matches was fun to listen to, and at the same time it was important to get information on other teams. Although the devs are getting some backlash for using AI generated voice lines instead of real voice actors, honestly I don't care. If it was a story driven AAA title, then yes, I would have been against using AI generated voice lines because I don't think AI can 100% replicate real human emotions. But this is an FPS shooter. I won't have time to listen to commentary and appreciate how real it is during a match. As long as it is precise in providing information and nice to listen to, I'm cool with having AI-generated voice lines in this game. It's great to see new organizations like Embark Studios being able to come up with such fresh ideas and make a fun game to enjoy for the players. It makes me excited to look forward to their other upcoming project, the Ark Raiders, which is going to be a third-person survival extraction shooter. The devs have been radio silent about this game for a while now, but I'm pretty sure that we will have some new updates real soon. If you are interested in all things related to the finals and the Ark Raiders, please make sure to subscribe to my channel and also follow me on Twitter. There wasn't much to complain about during the open beta. Nonetheless, I would like to share a few feedback for the dev team to look into. Number 1, the Heavy needs some remodeling. Those hands on the Heavy look way too tiny for such a big build type. It was so funny, all the 3 builds had the same hand size. It was not so much noticeable for the small and the medium builds, but for the Heavy, it definitely poked my eye. Number 2, there was a bug during the open beta where in the practice mode, if you press the emote button, POV changed to a weird position and it would not revert back to normal until you had restarted the game. It definitely needs attention from the devs. Number 3, there were server issues during the open beta. Initially, I had also faced disconnects like the others when I was just exploring different menus. I understand that there was a huge influx of players and the devs could be forgiven for being underprepared during the open beta. But now that they know what it's going to be when this game gets released, they have to be ready. People are really hyped for this game's release, and the last thing anybody would want is being unable to play the game on launch due to server issues. Number 4, the game would benefit from having a little bit more weapon customization. I'm not talking about aesthetics. Skins, charms and stickers are absolutely fine, but we need a few attachments as well. Every gun should at least have a few more options for optics rather than just iron sights. Even a red dot would go a long way to help players. Number 5, there was no option to see damage numbers that I was doing on my enemies during fights. I did not find any options to turn that on either. What we were getting was the total damage numbers by people after each kill. It was fine, but what players would really benefit is from having floating damage numbers while shooting. Number 6. Weapon balancing is required. There were a few weapons that were quite overpowered over the others. I'm pretty sure devs have already received quite a few feedback on those, and we can expect an adjustment in damage numbers for those particular weapons upon release. Number 7. This is a personal request, but if we could get at least one more map, preferably 2 at the launch, that would be amazing. These maps are huge, and since they have the verticality and destruction factor attached to them as well, it would probably take a good amount of time to develop such maps. So I would not keep high hopes on this, but would love to have at least one additional map at launch. Number 8. The game needs optimization. Even after putting everything on low, I was still not getting an average FPS of more than 100 on my laptop with an RTX 2060. On top of it, keeping shadows on low made them look really bad. This is the reason why I had to keep shadows on medium. So it would be great to have the devs look into it, smoothen the shadows a bit on low settings, and optimize the game overall so that people with low-end systems like me can also enjoy the game with decent FPS. The last thing we'd want is to look at the recommended specs for this game and see an RTX 4070 listed in the GPU section. Also, there was a significant amount of feedback given by the controller players on mapping issues and controller aim assist. Since I do not play with a controller, I cannot share any feedback on it, but if there was an issue, I hope it gets resolved at launch. Since this game is cross-play enabled, it would suck not to have controller players on board at launch. Number 9. Since this is a free-to-play game, there are going to be cheaters playing this game as well. There were numerous reports of cheaters playing during the open beta. No bullshit should be the approach from the devs when it comes to handling cheaters in this game. The game currently uses easy anti-cheat, and although it's a good option to have, it's still not the best at detecting cheating applications or hardwares. The best solution going forward is to develop a kernel-level anti-cheat software like Riot that can really help in detecting such software and hardware. Developing such an anti-cheat is definitely not going to be easy, and it would take a significant investment as well. So till the time devs have the adequate fund to go for such a solution, is definitely going to be a little bit frustrating for players. But this should be the ultimate target from the devs if they want their game to be cheater-free. Finally, number 10. Release the game as soon as possible with required fixes implemented. After the open beta, some people were just asking to release the game as it was. Trust me, those same folks are going to complain about the state of the game after a few weeks. Don't get me wrong, the devs should do their absolute best to take advantage of the hype that has been generated during the open beta by releasing the game as soon as possible, but not without the fixes. Oftentimes, developers are quick to take advantage of such hype built on their games, but releasing an unfinished game would hurt its long-term gains for sure. The devs at Embark Studios have been patient so far and have done a remarkable job with this game. I hope they just be a little more patient to reap the benefits of their hard work. Finals swept me off my feet right from the beginning and kept me in the ride throughout my time in the open beta. I was mesmerized by its destruction and the beauty in it. I kept going back again and again, and it never disappointed me. Even when I had lost a game, I was still smiling and couldn't wait to jump into the next one. If released in a good state, this game is definitely going to give every other FPS shooter out there a run for their money. I think many of you who have played the open beta would have a similar feeling like mine. Let me know what you feel about the Finals open beta and what are your thoughts on the release of this game. Are you excited for its release? Did you have a bad experience during the open beta? Please let me know down in the comments. That's it for today. This was quite a passionate project for me. So if you are still here, thank you so much. It means a lot. If you like this video, then please drop a like on it. Also check out my other content, and if you find them interesting, then please subscribe to my channel. I would love to have you as a part of my channel on my YouTube journey. Till next time, take care, stay safe, peace.